Hello everyone, Tony here bringing you another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile video. Um, Today I'm going to be showing you a Runick Kashtira deck, and the reason why I'm laughing is because this is the third attempt that I am making trying to record this video. The first attempt, there was a lighting issue. The second attempt, I ran out of space, so I'm a little annoyed, but it's also kind of funny to me. With that in mind, I'm gonna just get into the deck. I don't want to talk too long because if this does not save again, I am throwing myself through a window. I'm not really gonna do that, but we're gonna get into the deck. So this is a mill version of Kashtira that I'm currently playing. The deck is gonna change a lot with the release of Photon Hypernova, so I wanted to share this deck list before that set comes out. So we're gonna get into the monster list and like cut right into it. So first we're playing 3 Kashtira Fenrir. So this offers you a form of control on your opponent's board. So while he's face up on the field, when he declares an attack, you could target one face up card your opponent controls and banish it face down. Then during your opponent's turn, if they activate a monster effect, you can do the same thing. His other effect is once per turn, you can search for a Kashtira monster in the deck. So he's like the Stratos for the deck, kinda. And his first effect is while you control no monsters on the field, you can special summon them. All the current Kashtira monsters have that effect of being able to special summon themselves. So it's a big body for free. And then the free utility of searching your opponent. Oh, not your opponent, I'm sorry. For searching the other Kashtira monsters is pretty important. Next, 3 Kashtira Unicorns. This card targets cards in your opponent's extra deck in the same requirements for him. So if this monster attacks or your opponent activates a monster effect, you can look at your opponent's extra deck and banish a card face down. He searches your Kashtira spell cards. The more important one, in my opinion, for specifically this deck is Kashtira Ogre. Same requirements as the previous two. When he attacks or your opponent activates a monster effect, you apply his effect. And his effect is you look at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck and you banish one of those cards face down. And he's more important to what I'm trying to do with this deck because I'm trying to banish my opponent's deck and make them lose by deck out. But I can punch them in the face a lot with this deck too and still beat them. The Ascended Thunder. This monster has a few purposes. The main one is to help me get into my rank 7 Exceeds. He's also a big body, 2700 attack. So he's able to punch people in the face. And you can special summon him by paying 3,000 life points. But then if he gets destroyed by your opponent's card, you gain 5,000. So I don't know if you remember the Immortal Thunder. This is like a retrained version of it, or like, you know, him all grown up. But yeah, so this is a pretty dope card. And the last monster I play is Cyberstein. Now it seems a little far-fetched to be playing Cyberstein alongside the Ascended Thunder because doing both is game over for you. However, because of one of the Runick fusion monsters, you're able to gain life points over the time during each end phase. So it's very easy to see yourself with 14,000 life points at times. You know, that's only 6 turns if you're at full life, you know. So this card will help you get some big monsters on board in case things start to go south. Or it'll allow you to put a layer of control on the board that you normally wouldn't have just playing the regular Runick stuff. Now, getting into the Runick stuff, we're playing a copy of Runick Allure. You can only control 1 copy of this card. Every time a quick play spell is played, you can banish, well, you banish the top card of your opponent's deck, but it's face up. So that's probably the only thing that kind of conflicts with this deck, because Kashtira wants to banish stuff face down, or you can banish it face up. But being able to continuously banish cards from your opponent's deck and just milling them out is just what this deck wants to do. So every time you activate a quick play spell, which is 90% of the Kashtira cards, you banish a card of your from your opponent's deck, the top card. Next, we're playing a single copy of Runick Golden Droplet. This is kind of like a finisher card in a sense because this takes 5 cards out of your opponent's deck. So your opponent draws a card, then banishes the top 4 cards of your deck, of their deck, excuse me. So like you only need to play 1 of this because you can always recycle it, but I don't think it's needed enough to where you want to see multiple copies of it, because that's like a bad thing. You don't want to keep giving your opponents a hand, so you'd rather just do it when it's almost time for them to lose. And another thing, all the Runick quick plays have the effect of special summoning a Runick monster from the extra deck to the extra monster zone. 2 Runick Smiting Storms. So I play this at a 2-1 ratio because these are just meant to kind of get you to the end game. And Smiting Storm banishes cards equals the amount of cards your opponent controls on the field. So now the 3 Fs. 3 Freezing Curses, 3 Flashing Fires, 3 Runick Destructions. All of them have a segment of control that they provide, so searching for them or using them for certain instances helps. But the more important thing is that they take away your opponent's cards or negate their effects, while also banishing cards from the top cards of their deck. So overall, it's just about, like, you know, pissing your opponent off and taking away their resources while just manipulating the game state. And that's kind of what this does. And 3 Runick tips. This searches for whatever Runick card you want. Just keep in mind, though, all the Runick quick plays stop you from entering your next battle phase. So there's going to be quite a few games in this where you barely attack if you ever do attack. Like, I've had a couple of games where I maybe got 1 battle phase, but I still won. So, like, that's kind of what I'm aiming for here. And I'm playing 3 Runick Fountain. I know most people play 2, but I kind of feel like it's important to make sure that you have this card at all times because you want the cycling. What this does is when a quick play spell card is activated, you could target 3 Runick quick plays in your graveyard, put them to the bottom of the deck in whatever order you want, and then draw the same amount. So if you put 2 cards back, you draw 2 cards. It's a max of 3, so you can draw up to 3 cards from it, and it helps kind of keep the milling and control going. Now the non-Runick cards that I'm playing, 2 copies of the Sacred Sword. All the Kashtira monsters that are currently out to level 7, and they can be brought back from the banished area, so you don't mind giving them up to draw 2 cards. The only thing is that you can only play 1 of this per turn, so playing it as a 2 of and, you know, seeing it every now and then is great. 3 Kashtira Birth. So this card does a few things. Number 1, you're allowed to normal summon a level 7 monster without tributing. Number 2, when your opponent activates a spell card while you control a Kashtira monster, you banish 3 cards from their graveyard face down. Number 3, you can special summon a Kashtira monster from your graveyard or banished area. So you get 3 effects for free. Only one of them, I believe, you need to control a Kashtira monster for, and this just provides great utility. So we got the special summoning, the banishing from the face down, and then being able to normal summon without tribute. And then the last 3 cards in the extra deck are 3 Kashtira preparations. Like the Kashtira Birth, this card lets you special summon Kashtira monsters from your hand or banished area. You cannot special summon Kashtira Exceed monsters, only the regular monsters. While you control a Kashtira monster, if your opponent activates a trap card, you can look at your opponent's hand and banish card from their hand. So Kashtira's control, like, several aspects of the game where the Runick just wants to keep banishing stuff from the top of your deck while doing that too. It's crazy how they work so well together despite not banishing the same way. To the extra deck, it's nothing crazy. I'm actually liking how short this video is going to be. 2 Hugin, I guess, I don't know. So she's here because she lets you search for the Runick Field Spell card. And the other effect, if another card you control will be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this card you control instead. If this card in the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, return it to the extra deck. So she recycles herself as well as protects mostly the field card you're going to be using that protection effect on. 2 Moonin. So he searches for Runick Allure, and he at the end of each turn you gain 1,000 life points. So he kind of allows you to use Cyberstein without, like, costing you the game. 2 copies of Gary. He recycles cards for you. When he's destroyed, you can add a Runick spell from the graveyard to your hand, and that's pretty much all you use them for. If it's when he's destroyed, right? Oh no, when he's special summoned from the extra deck, you target and 1 non-quick play spell card. So you grab I've never actually summoned this card, but you can grab your field card and Allure with that. Next, we're looking at the Cyberstein targets. So it's one Naturia Exterio. This is probably the best target for him. Offers you several layers of negation while also fueling your graveyard and allowing you to recycle stuff with your Runick field spell, or allowing you to have access to different targets with your Kashtira cards. Either way, you're getting a benefit from it by negating your opponent's cards and gaining new resources. One Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, another form of negate. You're not going to get his burn effect, but you will get a powerhouse that can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. One Dark Magician of Dragonite. This card allows you to protect your back row without giving up resources. One Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon. He's unaffected by card effects and has 3,500 attack, so he's just a beefy guy. And then to cut the end of the extra deck, 3 Kashtira, Shangri, Ira. I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. Ira? Yeah, probably Ira. This card is a multiple, like, thorn in your opponent's side. So during each standby phase, you can special summon a Kashtira monster from your deck. If this card were to be destroyed, you can detach material and keep it alive. And then the most annoying effect for your opponent is every time a card is banished face down, you can target an unused zone that they have and just lock it. And while he's faced up on the field, they cannot use that zone. So it's like an Ojama King on steroids almost. Like, Ojama King starts off by hitting 3 zones, but they're only monster zones. He could hit back row. And if multiple card effects would banish cards face down, he gets a lock for each instance that happens. So if you have 3 effects that banish however many cards face down, you get 3 effects that trigger off this, and you're able to lock 3 of your opponent's zones as long as they're unused. It's kind of insane because if you get this like popped off early enough, you can actually lock your opponent's monster zones out, and unless they're playing like Labyrinth, you're probably gonna kill them. 2 Diablos is the Mind Hacker. This card is absolutely broken for this deck. You can detach a material from him and look at your opponent's extra deck and banish card face down, right? That's broken. If he, at the end of the battle, if he destroys a monster by battle, you can target one monster in your, one card in your opponent's graveyard and banish face down. Not too big of a deal, right? But then, if a card your opponent controls and possesses banish face down while you control this card, except during this damage step, you can banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck face down equal to the number of face down banish cards they have already. And you can only use that effect once per turn. So his first effect, where you look at the extra deck, is once per turn, and then his last effect of banishing X based off of what's already there is once per turn. The other effect only happens once because of it, happening at the end of the battle phase. So his whole effect is once per turn. So I don't know why they didn't just put you can only use each effect once per turn, but whatever. However, like the thing is it's very easy to like shave literal chunks off your opponent's deck with this card, because if your opponent has, let's say, 6 or 7 cards banished face down, you activate this effect, banish another cards, right? So that's 8 cards face down. Then activate his effect and banish another 8 from the top of the deck. So it's just like he literally like finishes the game without doing anything outside of activating his effect twice, right? It's 2 different effects, but he doesn't even have to attack to like really influence the outcome of the game. And he's kind of like crazy, So if you decide to play Kashtira, I would definitely invest in it. It's a really, 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 really cheap card for a card with a strong effect. But this is gonna be the end of the video because my last few videos have been well over 20 minutes, and I'm trying to cut back on that. In the future though, I probably will make them a little longer to like put like test plans and show you like some combos and stuff. I don't think this deck needs it though, because this deck is just kind of playing to what your opponent is doing and then like adjusting yourself as you play. All right, but that's the end of it here. I want to thank you guys for watching my videos. The road to 200 has officially started. I'm at like 114 now, so the 114 people that have followed, I want to thank you so much for the thousands of views that I've had. Like I cannot express my gratitude. You guys have no idea. I'm just so thankful that people are even taking the time that they have to just view my stuff. Like it's humbling. It's awesome. Like I'm gonna try to keep doing this for as long as I can, for as long as you guys will allow me to. But I seriously want to thank you guys, and I'm hoping that 2023 is great for me. I'm hoping it's great for the channel, and I'm hoping that it's great for every single person that takes the time out of their day to watch this video. You know, thank you and stay blessed.